Ashley and Pete Travels. I'm currently riding a bicycle. Can you see it? Yeah, this is kind of an interesting opening to our vlog here, but just me again. I'm in Key West and I'm gonna take you guys along for my day. How's that sound? Welcome old friends, hello new friends, let's go on an adventure together. So, Key West is pretty famous for being a small island. It's only about 4 miles long by about a mile wide. And it's really popular with bikes and scooters. There you go. There are some cars here, as you can see, but people mainly get around with bikes because you really don't need a car here. And I'm currently trying to get to Duval Street, which is kind of the main street in Key West. For the Old Town area, there is a New Town area, but we're not gonna go there on this trip. Back in the 1800s, there was a huge fire in this city. This building right here, this brick building, was one of the only buildings to survive the fire, and it's still here today. Right now, I figure we'll head on over. Hold on, there's a bike. I'm riding my bike one-handed. Right now, I'm gonna head over to the world-famous Mallory Square, where once a day, you can see the world-famous sunset. Now, one thing that a lot of tourists will ask in this area is, I missed the sunset for the day. What's the time for the next one? To which a lot of the locals will say, tomorrow, because there's only one sunset a day. And yes, that is a real question that people will ask. I mean, honestly, any tourist area you go to, there's gonna be some silly tourist questions, but I'm sorry, that's probably the silliest. So although it's only about 2:30 right now, this whole area will fill with vendors and street performers every night to watch the sunset, which sets right behind that island right over there. Although it's been 6 years since I've been to Key West, I know pretty much this island like the back of my hand. I will probably get lost a few times while I'm here for the next 2 days, but that's okay. One of Key West's more famous inhabitants was Ernest Hemingway, and he actually wrote a few of his books here back in the early 1930s, 1940s. Really cool fact is his restaurant, Sloppy Joe's, actually used to be at another place called Captain Tony's. So here is Captain Tony's Saloon. Captain Tony actually just passed away a few years ago. In fact, Jimmy Buffett wrote a few songs about him, one of them being Last Mango in Paris. So if you notice, it says the original and first Sloppy Joe's, 1933 to 1937. In 1937, they actually raised the rent by $5. They said, we are not taking this. Everybody in there picked up their bar stools, walked down the street to an abandoned building and said, this is the new bar. And the rent was cheaper. Nowadays, if somebody was told that their rent is raising $5, they kind of just go with it. And if you want some good fortune, shoot a penny into the worker's mouth. But anyway, they went from this yellow building right next to me. In fact, there's actually a gravestone in there. A woman loved the bar so much that when she died, the husband gave her body to the bar and said, she loved this bar so much, bury her here. She's still there. And this is where they relocated to. This is the brand new Sloppy Joe's. Brand new as of 1937. But that's where they moved to. At the time, it was an abandoned building. And ever since then, it's been Sloppy Joe's. Now, if you're visiting Key West and not wanting to go on the main fare of Duval Street, which is right behind me, there's actually a really nice small bar right kind of across diagonal from Sloppy Joe's, which is right over there. It's called Smokin' Tuna Cafe. It's a little bit off the beaten path, but again, I'm on my bike here. Here it is. It's down in a little alley, and they have live music pretty much every day, and there's a lovely little patio in the back there to get food and drinks, and it's actually one of my favorite places to come. Normally, I wouldn't talk politics in my videos, but I feel like it's a good point to bring this up. There's more than one White House. There's actually a White House here in Key West, and I'm gonna show you guys Key West presidential gates. There are the Key West presidential gates. They will only open if a president is in town. Now, the last time they opened, they actually opened for Colin Powell. Although he's not a president, they made an exception for him. There is Harry Truman's little White House behind those gates, which, let's go check it out. Presidents that have come through these gates include Harry Truman, who originated this whole little complex here, Dwight D. Eisenhower, and John F. Kennedy. Back in the 1940s, this used to be military housing. Now it's a lot of private homes and vacation rentals. I've actually stayed back here. They're actually really cute, really nice inside. But we're going to be coming up on the White House, adorned with Americana banners. Here is the little White House right back there. Now, if the president ever comes to town here to Key West, they're more than welcome to stay in this historic building. Although, like I said, it hasn't happened in quite a while, the last being Colin Powell, who, although is not a president, was welcomed. All right, I'm gonna go inside of the Episcopal Church here because it is one of the most beautiful buildings in this entire island. And I'm also gonna be quiet inside to be respectful of others. So if I don't talk, that's why. It looks like there's nobody in here right now, so I can kind of talk a little bit without being disrespectful. But this is an absolutely beautiful building. Anybody can come in here as long as they're, well, you can also come in if there's a service going on, but it's open pretty much all day, dawn to dusk. I don't know the exact times, but it's a wonderful place to just come and sit and, you know, either worship or just admire the building itself. So if you want to just go somewhere and see some really nice architecture, the Episcopal Church on the corner of Eaton and Duval. St. Paul's Episcopal Church, erected in 1832. And in case you're wondering, the outside, there it is right there. And I think the back is haunted by an old sea captain. There was a graveyard there and there was a flood back in the early 1900s, and a lot of the graves came up. So a lot of them are now built above ground. But there is a sea captain. They didn't want to move his grave to make him angry. So literally right against the side of the building is a grave of the old sea captain. All right, speaking of the cemetery, you can see over here, all of the graves are above ground. And I'm heading to the southernmost point to show you Key West's most famous landmark. One of two, I will say, one of two of Key West's most famous landmarks, but probably the more famous of the two. So we're gonna go check out the southernmost point in the continental US. There it is right behind me. That is the southernmost point in the continental US. It means 90 miles to Cuba, and it's only here. Well, there are other buoys, but it's definitely not the original. This is the original. And in case you're wondering, there's only one coat of paint on there because storms, anytime a storm comes through, washes all the paint off, and then they repaint it right after. And there is always a line to get a photo. Right up here is going to be Ernest Hemingway's house. The keen eye behind me there, you'll kind of see the lighthouse, which is actually across the street from Ernest Hemingway's house, which is actually closed right now. But yeah, there's the lighthouse. Actually, a fun fact about the Ernest Hemingway house, out back by the pool, which I believe is the first saltwater pool in the state of Florida, is a penny pressed into the cement. His wife at the time spent all of their money, and he pulled a penny out of his pocket and he said, "This is it. This is my last penny and you will never get it." So he put it in the cement and she never got it, and it's still there to this day. Now I have to show you the second most popular landmark here in Key West. And this is the second most popular thing in Key West to come and see landmark-wise. Mile marker 0. This denotes the end of US Route 1, which I believe goes all the way up to Maine and all the way down here to Key West. This is the end of the line. I figure while we're waiting for sunset, we might as well go into one of my favorite Cuban restaurants here. Might be a little bit cliche, but I love El Mesón de Pepe. It is located directly on Mallory Square, and it's got a really cool inside, and they have wonderful sangria. So if you're that kind of person, El Mesón de Pepe.
Well, I dug in, I killed my tamale, haven't started on my rice yet, and my sangria is not looking too good because I'm almost done it. I'm telling you, El Mesón de Pepe is like my fave.
Alrighty, all dinnered up and headed over to Mallory Square, see if anything's really set up yet. It's only 7, but we're gonna see if anything got set up for the sunset celebration. Excuse me, sorry. I will say that when I was younger, Mallory Square had a lot more performers, a lot more vendors. It was a lot more poppin'. I guess it's not as busy now, but I figured it was worth a little stop. All right, now I'm just kind of walking down Duval Street. Now, because I went to go visit a few friends, I could have easily gone to any of the things that I showed you and had plenty of time for one day. I just didn't want to, and I don't want to. I've done them all, but just know if you come to Key West for one day only, you can do all the things in one day that I've showed you. Now that we've been all over the island, let's take a little break for a little while besides, you know, dinner. My friend actually has a radio station that he works at down here, and we're going to try to see if we can get on the air. 1049. Barefoot radio.
Yeah, I think it takes a day.
So yeah, just hanging out here on the radio station. Well, for being on a bicycle for about 7 hours today, I'd say we did a lot. To end the night, let's just take a little stroll down Duval Street, and that'll be it. Now it did rain a little bit, but it's a pretty loud street. Whoa. Lots of stuff going on. This stays pretty active. I mean, I've been on this street at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's always pretty active. All right, guys, as you can see, I just took my shower after a long day. I am done. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this whirlwind tour of Key West, and stay tuned for the next one. Have a good day, guys.